This is Ali welcoming you to the 2128th edition of the Enfield Talking Newspaper, Dateline 18th of January 2018. The readers this week are John, Kitty and Ali, with Phillip on the controls. The editor was Phillip, and the production and distribution team is Jean and Lindsay. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Breuer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, and is used with his kind permission. The local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent and the Edmonton Green Magazine, and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. The lead story this week is a school the community will be very proud of. Before the news, we have one or two special news items and notices. First, the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning the 22nd of January 2018 are 07:52 and 16:32. I'd just like to say it's very nice. We've had a lovely letter from Lisa Hermans thanking all the readers, saying she enjoys hearing our different voices and where we do funny little things, and especially the Christmas edition. So it's always very nice to be thanked. Thank you very much for doing that. And also, we're sorry if you have background interruption today, because there's a meeting next door about budgets, and we think they may make some noise at some point. Okay, do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking Newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, John, the drunken cook, will read the first item of local news.
Thanks for that. A school the community will be very proud of is the headline. A new £7.5 million primary school is due to be finished by the summer. Ashmole Primary School in Southgate is part of a government-backed scheme to create 49 new free schools nationwide. Based on the same site as Ashmole Academy, the two schools will be closely linked and will share teachers and facilities. Once completed, the school will have room for 420 pupils aged between 4 and 11. Barnet's Mayor, Councillor Brian Salinger, was at the site last week with staff and pupils to celebrate the latest progress. Christophalis, head teacher at Ashmole Primary School, said, "We are all very excited with the building of our new school. We are looking forward to the year ahead, where we will see all our children enjoy the excellent facilities set up for their use. The creation of our modern and permanent building will allow us to fulfil our vision to provide the very best standards in education for all our primary children. The new building will allow us to deliver a broad, balanced and creative curriculum with many extracurricular activities on offer. The new primary school building will provide an outstanding setting, and I know that the children, parents and staff will be thrilled with the new learning environment. Ashmole Primary School will be a school that the whole community will be very proud of." Construction and infrastructure company Morgan Sindall is building the new school building. Neil Franklin, area director at Morgan Sindall, said, "We're so pleased to have started construction work at the new Ashmole Primary School, which once complete will be an outstanding centre of educational excellence. We hope that the new building will be a fantastic addition to the Southgate community, providing a first-class teaching space for children to start their educational journey."
Mental health trust requires improvement. A mental health trust has been rated requires improvement overall by the Care Quality Commission. Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Health Trust was rated requires improvement in the two categories of safe and effective. Improvements have to be made in physical health monitoring and planning, especially in community services for adults with mental health needs. Steps have been taken with the appointment of new staff to ensure the right amount of resources to support service users' physical health. The Trust was rated good in caring, responsive and well-led. Paul Lelliott, Care Quality Commission's Deputy Chief Inspector, said, "While the Trust is still rated as requires improvement, it is now close to achieving a rating of good in the future. We carried out a full review of the Trust leadership and governance processes and found it was well led and had made many improvements since our last comprehensive inspection. Most staff felt proud to work for the Trust and were committed to ensuring they delivered good care for patients. Most staff supported patients with kindness and respect. A concern was the age of some of the Trust buildings. Some patients who needed to use seclusion rooms at St Anne's Hospital had to go through public areas. This meant that privacy could not always be protected. Mary Sexton, Executive Director of Nursing Quality and Governance, said, "We are delighted that the Care Quality Commission has recognised the amount of progress we've made. The inspectors told us how caring they found our staff, how staff enjoyed working for the Trust, and that the Barnet, Enfield and Haringey itself was well led. We are confident that we will be able to achieve a good rating on our next major inspection. This will be helped considerably when we redevelop St Anne's Hospital in Haringey, which we hope will begin this summer."
Students' artwork on display inside bank. A bank was transformed into an art gallery exhibiting students' work last week. On Friday, January the 12th, A-level and GCSE students from Ashmole Academy in Southgate displayed their work in an art exhibition at Bank of Cyprus. Parents, carers, teachers and bank staff admired the 49 pieces of artwork on display. Soteris Antoniades, Chief Operating Officer at Bank of Cyprus, UK, said, "Our relationship with Ashmole Academy continues to grow, and we are proud to provide an opportunity for students to display their talents within our offices. The bank is committed to supporting communities local to our offices, and the Artwork Initiative provides an excellent opportunity to do so." Derek Brown, head teacher at Ashmole Academy, added, "We are delighted to be able to continue this partnership with Bank of Cyprus UK. It's a great show of community spirit and showcases the talents of our students."
Expert features on BBC show. A hospital took centre stage in a television show last week. BBC's January the 12th edition of The One Show featured a segment on the research of Royal Free Hospital's liver expert, Professor Kevin Moore. Filmed last year, but broadcast at the start of dry January this year, the programme's presenter, Michael Douglas, joined volunteers in the expert's experiment. The presenter admitted he found it difficult to give up the glass of wine he usually enjoyed after returning home. Meanwhile, volunteers had confessed to drinking more than the government's recommended unit intake of 14 units a week. Professor Moore assessed the blood and liver of volunteers who had been tested at the start and end of the month-long experiment. One alcohol-free month can lead to improvements in concentration, sleep patterns and general well-being, according to Professor Moore. 4 weeks of alcohol abstinence can also have a regenerative effect on the health of the liver. Professor Moore said, "The research we have done so far shows that even giving up alcohol for this short amount of time appears to have a very positive effect on people. If people give up for a month and feel the benefits, they may also end up cutting down their alcohol intake long term, and that could be very beneficial to their health."
Slimmers lose 51 stone in just 4 months. Members of a slimming group have lost more than 51 stone between them since September. Slimming World Edgeware's 55 members have lost 51 stone and 4 pounds since September the 7th, when their new consultant, Sarah Jane Neal, took over. One member, Gemma Drakes, has lost 3.5 stone and dropped from size 16 to a size 10 in that time. She said, "Filling up on lots of satisfying foods means that you're never hungry, so I have never felt as if I was on a diet. Before I joined Slimming World, I thought losing weight meant going to the gym and counting calories. But now I know it's about making healthier choices about food and becoming a bit more active." Miss Neal, who also lost weight before becoming a Slimming World consultant, provides support and guidance to her slimmers about nutrition and exercise. She said, "I'm delighted that my members have lost weight so beautifully. It has made a big difference to their lives and to their whole family's lives, and all of them are now happier and healthier." The group is help at 1 Stonegrove Community Centre on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. and Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. For more information, contact Miss Neal on 0739 211 8091 or turn up on the evening.
Seeking volunteers. Council tenants and leaseholders have been given the chance to have their opinions heard on housing service matters. Volunteers are being sought for Enfield Council's Customer Voice Board so they can represent the views of their communities. People have until Wednesday, January the 31st to apply. Meetings are held monthly and travel expenses are paid. Councillor Ahmed Oykiner, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Housing and Housing Regeneration, said, "Customer voice is central to our housing service. By joining our panel, you can make positive changes in your community and give a voice to residents on a range of issues including repairs, service initiatives and environmental projects. In addition, we would love to hear about new ideas and policies that can help influence how Enfield Council delivers its services and how to better foster strong communities. Customer Voice is an invaluable resident body made up of tenants and leaseholders supported by council officers. If you have a willingness to make a difference, Enfield Council will offer you the support to get involved. To learn more about volunteering, email hcrest@enfield.gov.uk or telephone the Consultation and Resident Engagement Services team, which is CREST, on 020 8375 8397.
Women urged to attend free cancer screening. A counsellor is urging women to take up their free cervical cancer screening test. Women who have received an invitation for a cervical screening test can book an appointment at their GP surgery or at a primary care hub. Evergreen Primary Care Centre in Edmonton, Carlton House Surgery in Enfield North and the Woodbury Practice in Winchmore Hill are open from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays. Women can have a smear taken any time during their menstrual cycle other than when they have their period. Cervical Cancer Prevention Week runs from January the 22nd to January the 28th. Councillor Crystal von Younger, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Community Safety and Public Health, said the number of people being screened for cervical cancer in Enfield is higher than the average for London, but lower than the average in England as a whole. We are therefore working hard to improve the uptake of screening and want to see a day when cervical cancer becomes a disease of the past. If you are invited to a cervical screening, please attend, as the symptoms of cervical cancer aren't always obvious. Cervical cancer charity Joe's Trust report that 75% of cervical cancers are presentable with cervical screening. Around 3 cases of cervical cancer are diagnosed every year in the UK. Visit www.nhs.nhs.uk uk/conditions/cervical-screening to find out what to expect from a screening test.
Reality show seeks child genius. A children's television quiz show is looking for the brightest young sparks to compete in a new series. Child Genius, the Channel 4 reality show, hosted by Richard Osman, is looking for 8 to 12-year-olds. The show pits young brain boxes against one another over a course of weeks in a series of exams. Rahul Doshi, who was 12 when he won the competition, said, "Child Genius was a fun, exciting challenge that I would definitely recommend." For more information, email child.genius@walltowall.co.uk or call 0207 241 9225.
Psychologists' advice to beat the January blues. A clinical psychologist has offered tips and advice on how to beat the winter blues. Dr. Nicole Main, who works at Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Mental NHS Trust, says people should do things they enjoy, talk to family and friends, and focus on their future. The third Monday of January has become known as Blue Monday, and this year fell on the 15th. Blue Monday is seen by some people as the gloomiest day of the year. A combination of factors, including weather, debt, time since Christmas, and lack of motivation, are said to collide, making people feel low. Dr. Main said, "It's very common for people to feel depressed or sad in January. The buzz of Christmas has worn off, and payday is still a week or two away. You can beat the January blues by taking time out to do the things that you enjoy. Set aside the time for these activities, because if we don't spend time doing things we enjoy, we can become irritable and unhappy. Also, spend more time with those close to you and talk to them about how you are feeling. Talking can be a good way to cope with a problem you've been carrying around for a while, and if you can open up, you might also encourage someone else to do the same."
Hundreds of new homes available. Hundreds of new homes will soon be available at a former police training college site. Homes in Colindale Gardens, a £1 billion development on the former Peel Centre Metropolitan Police Training College site, are to be available to buy in early 2018. Properties being released include 74 1-, 2 and 3-bedroom apartments, as well as 30 3- and 4-bedroom townhouses, each set across 3 stories. James Holmere, sales director at Colindale Gardens, said, "Since launching in 2016, we've received an overwhelming response from potential buyers. In particular, properties here have proved very popular among buyers looking to relocate locally, with 45% of our domestic buyers coming from within 5 miles of the site. Once complete, Colindale Gardens will offer everything they could possibly want and need. The development is set in 47 acres and delivers 9 acres of parkland, sports pitches and play parks. Visit www.colindaleGardens.com for information."
Samaritans turn Blue Monday into Brew Monday. Samaritan volunteers joined rail staff at Bowes Park Station, turning Blue Monday into Brew Monday. Commuters were encouraged to chat over a free cup of tea and given tips on how to listen to others from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Monday, January the 15th. Aiming to reduce suicide on the railways, the Samaritans has a life-saving partnership with Network Rail, British Transport Police and the wider rail industry. John Pyatt, director of North London Samaritans, said, "We are pleased to be taking part in Brew Monday. We want to highlight the value of people taking time to chat rather than going it alone. You don't need special skills to encourage someone to open up over a cuppa. And for anyone who feels they have nowhere to turn, our volunteers are there." Ian Stevens from Network Rail, who leads the suicide prevention programme, said, Brew Monday is a great opportunity to use our partnership with Samaritans to reach out to people who may be struggling at this time. To telephone Samaritans, dial 116 123.
Green doctors offer free energy efficiency advice. An Enfield Council local energy advice programme service helps people who are registered to make their homes warmer. A fully trained green doctor visits homeowners to offer hints and tips on how to find the cheapest gas and electricity prices. Green doctors can also refer people to income maximisation services, ensuring they claim all the benefits and grants they are entitled to. Councillor Alan Sitkin, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Economic Regeneration and Business, said, "We're committed to making sure residents are warm and well this winter, so we're urging people to check if they're eligible for free efficiency advice. Phone 0800 060 7567 or apply online at www.applyforleap, L-E-A-P, that is, .org.uk to book a free visit."
Truly inspiring officer. Constable nominated for award. A special constable who has volunteered more than 800 hours over the past 12 months has been nominated for an award for excellence. Vicky Leppard, a lead volunteer in Enfield's cadet unit, is in with a chance of winning the title of Special Constable of the Year at the Met Excellence Awards. Ms. Leppard became a special constable while studying at university in order to gain work experience with the police, a job which she has dreamt of doing since childhood. Among her responsibilities with the Metropolitan Police is organising and running cadet camps, preparing cadets for annual competitions, and leading her 2 squads. Enfield Volunteer Cadets is said to have four new volunteer instructors who will help run a Duke of Edinburgh award scheme thanks to Vicky's efforts. Speaking on the Met Excellence Award webpage, Vicky said, "To be nominated really does mean the world to me. It is quite overwhelming and it's really heartwarming. It shows that the work I do is making a difference, and that really makes a difference to me. I think the thing I love most about my job is seeing young people grow and actually develop. So, over the past 5 years or so that I've been working as a staff member, I've had cadets come up to me and say, 'You've changed my life. I'm doing so well. I'm going to uni.'" Julian Pell-Coggins, Vicky's nominating officer, added, "Vicky's dedication to the Met is truly inspiring. She has made a visible change to the attitudes of young people attending Enfield's cadet unit, and she is an excellent role model to them. Vicky is dedicated, hard-working and reliable, and never expects anything in return. I've nominated Vicky for a Met Excellence Award because, to be honest, she is excellent. What makes her so excellent is spending so much of her time trying to make other young people excellent too. Every day, everything she does with young people makes me proud of what she's doing." To vote for Vicky Leppard, go to www.playbuzz.com/METUKZ10, that's the figures for 10, so it's METUKZ and then 10, /special-constable-of-the-year. Voting closes on Friday, February the 16th.
Choir looking for singers for concert performance. A choir is on the lookout for more singers who wish to join them in performing at a forthcoming cancer charity concert. The Enfield Community Singers are to return to St Mary Magdalene Church, Windmill Hill, on Saturday, May the 5th, and St Andrew's Church, Chaseside, on Saturday, June the 2nd. People who are interested in joining the choir are invited to rehearsals on Mondays at Holy Trinity Church, Winchmore Hill, between 11 and 1 p.m, and on Tuesdays at Millfield Arts Centre, Silver Street, between 7 and 9 p.m. There are no auditions and people of all abilities are welcome. Email Simon at letthepeoplesing.co.uk, phone 0208 360 7386, or visit www.letthepeoplesing.co.uk for further information.
New campaign to tackle sugar. Organisations across Enfield are being urged to help children choose healthier snacks in efforts to lessen sugar consumption and challenge rising obesity levels. Sugar Smart Enfield was launched on Saturday, January the 13th, with the Great Sugar Debate at Enfield Town FC's home match versus Merstham FC at the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium. Enfield Mayor Councillor Christine Hamilton and Councillor Crystal Fonyonga, Cabinet Member for Community Safety and Public Health, support the initiative, which is part of the Council's Healthy Enfield campaign. Councillor Fonyonga said, "Overconsumption of foods and drinks high in sugar is a major contributor to the health crisis, especially childhood obesity. It is essential that we act now and support people to reduce their sugar intake and lead healthier lives."
Call for rate relief to keep small firms trading. Concerns over trade in London is the topic of a business confidence report. The FSB London Small Business Index's first report for 2018 shows that, while confidence in the capital is higher than the UK average and has risen since the penultimate quarter of 2017, there is significant concern about the high costs of doing business. According to the analysis, which covers the last 3 months of 2017, 15% of businesses say they intend to downsize, to sell or to close in the next 12 months due to the costs of operating in London. The FSB has called for an increased inner and outer London small business rate relief threshold. Sue Terpilovsky, the FSB's London policy chairman, said, "This fresh data for 2018 shows how resilient small business owners in London continue to be. However, we must recognise that for many small businesses, the cost of doing business is weighing them down. National and local government, along with the mayor, must be on their side in 2018.
Snowdrop sale returns to historic gardens. A flower named after a monument at Middleton House Gardens returns to an annual snowdrop show. 67-year-old photographer John Glover from Sussex won a competition to name a white and green snowdrop, and he chose the name Market Cross. Market Cross sold for £80 each at last year's snowdrop sale. In previous years, various types of snowdrops have sold for hundreds of pounds, with one buyer reportedly paying £1,000 for a single bulb. James Hall, head gardener at Middleton House Gardens, said, "We're looking forward to welcoming back snowdrop aficionados and friends to the gardens as we plan for a bigger and better than ever event. As always, we'll be inviting a number of nurseries from across the region to join us on the day and showcase their very best bulbs, hopefully to the delight of both snowdrop rookies and serious galantophiles, who are snowdrop enthusiasts. 2018 is going to be another busy year for us, as we'll be marking the 200th anniversary of Middleton House with a series of special events and activities. Visitors will be able to explore the building and discover more about its history through open days, guided tours, and an extended exhibition. Visitors to the Ultimate Snowdrop Sale can explore the gardens, given a Green Flag Award and Heritage Green Flag status in 2017. For further information, go to www.visitleevalley.org.uk/Middleton, or follow through Facebook Middleton House Gardens, Twitter at Lee Valley Park, and Instagram Middleton House Gardens.
New programme offers aid to athletes. A leisure operator will be supporting athletes through a special programme. The GLL Sport Foundation is a support programme to aid athletes in their performance, training and physiotherapy or injury rehabilitation. Athletes can apply for the programme, which also includes financial awards of up to £1,250. Supported athlete James Andrew Davis, a fencer from Edgware, said, "Fencing has been my passion from the age of 4, and I've been privileged enough to find a sport that I truly love. Unfortunately, the support from the world-class programme into fencing will be no more. This is going to cause a huge burden on my resources in funding the various aspects of my season, such as coaching and travel. With this support, I'll be able to completely fund one of my tournaments this season." Applications for athletes are open until February the 20th at www.gllsportfoundation.org.
I have a letter here now. There is no name, but the name and address were supplied to the editor. And the heading is "Letter Made Total Sense." I write in support of the letter sent by Dr. and Mrs. Silverstone regarding roadworks, new road layouts and the misery caused to residents of Enfield. What a polite, restrained and measured letter, yet one that made total sense. If only Dr. Silverstone and his wife were our counsellors. We have lived in Southgate for decades, and the upheaval caused by the introduction of the cycle lane is horrendous. Instead of happily driving along green lanes at 30 miles per hour or thereabouts, we are now in a stop-start situation as we wait behind buses and right-turners and spew out pollution to be breathed in by pedestrians, business owners and the occasional cyclist. Yes, I see the very occasional cyclist in the cycle lane, cyclists riding on the footpath, even cyclists riding on the main carriageway in front of cars. Despite all the opposition to the introduction to the cycle lane, we, the residents, were ignored and the council went ahead and spent millions introducing it. Isn't it ironic that flower beds and planters have been placed along the new cycle route, whilst the greenery that has existed for decades along footpaths in the Southgate area is seldom pruned or kept under control due to lack of funds? Thank you, Dr. and Mrs. Silverstone, for making your views known. You've spoken for the entire neighbourhood.
A letter from Henry Carlton, also on the theme of cycle lanes. I would like to underscore the complaints raised by Dr. and Mrs. Silverstone in their letter of last week, with particular relevance to the ill-conceived, doubtless at astronomical expense, cycle lane construction, the length of green lanes to Enfield Centre. Not only has this reduced a busy highway to single-lane traffic in either direction, adding delay in peak periods, but also I have yet to see more than one cyclist using this facility. To add insult to injury, beware mishap should your vehicle tyres stray into contact with the cycle lane hostile edge caps. Whoever sanctioned this project at Enfield Council should be given a special medal for creating North London's most expensive white elephant.
The Enfield Clinical Commissioning Group invites you to its governing body meeting to be held in public on Wednesday, the 24th of January, between 1:30 and 3:30 at Holbrook House, Cockfosters Road, Barnet, EN4 ODR. Copies of the agenda and meeting papers will be available on our website at www.enfieldccg.nhs.uk from the 17th of January. Questions about agenda items must be submitted by 12 noon on the 22nd of January to enfccg.secretariat@nhs.net and will be taken at the meeting. For further information, please call 020 3688 2867 or email brenda.thomas1@nhs.net.
And I have an interesting article here. Under the heading, I experience visual and sonic auras in everything I do. An Enfield artist with Asperger's syndrome is currently holding his third exhibition at Palmer's Green Community Art Gallery. Patrick Samuel picked up painting and drawing when he started his daily art therapy in December 2016. He has embraced his neurodiversity as a gift rather than seeing it as a disability. He's found his voice and his calling. Patrick has produced an extensive portfolio in a wide range of genres and media. Being on the autistic spectrum, he is stimulated by bold, contrasting colours, intricate details, multiple textures, and varying shades of light and dark. Patrick is working primarily with pastels, graphite pencils, and acrylics, but he also enjoys experimenting with watercolours, glass, and oil paints. He says, "Colour and sound, as well as their interference, have always affected my life more than anything else. As a person on the autistic spectrum and living with synesthesia, I experience visual and sonic auras in everything I do, see and hear. It's all around me. Colour is sound and sound is colour." All originals are for sale at the exhibition, and 10% of proceeds goes towards the National Autistic Society. And the exhibition is at Palmer's Green Community Art Gallery at Anthony Webb Estate Agents, 348 Green Lanes, Palmer's Green, N13 5TJ, until February the 28th. And the website is patricksamuel.net.
A letter from Emily Sivier of Testimony Films. Testimony Films is currently making a new documentary series, Britain's Great War, The People's Story, for the BBC, and trying to find Britain's oldest men and women who can share memories and stories of childhood during World War I and the immediate aftermath. The series will feature the childhood stories of centenarians and supercentenarians who still vividly remember family life at the time, alongside archive footage and testimonies from those who fought. We are especially interested in talking to those who lost a loved one at the front or who remember the air raids, the food shortages, and the patriotic spirit of the time. If you, or someone you know, have childhood stories of the Great War, we'd love to hear from you. Please email, call, or write to Emily Sivier, mail@testimonyfilms.com, 0117 925 8589, Testimony Films, 12 Great George Street, Bristol, BS1 5RH.
The power of monologue brought to life in 2 plays. Southgate's favourite accessible theatre group, Chicken Shed, will feature 2 plays from renowned playwrights Alan Bennett and Diane Samuels. Bennett has become known for his incredibly poignant plays, all of which utilise the monologues in new and profound ways, most notably in Talking Heads, which was brought to the small screen starring Patricia Routledge. As for Samuels, her play Kindertransport, about a Second World War child based on real-life accounts, has been lauded for its depth and emotional intelligence and has been performed all over the country. Bennett's Her Big Chance, one of the monologues from Talking Heads, will be performed as part of the new season. The story follows a wannabe actress in the 1980s who thinks she has found her big break in a film for the West German market. The monologue exposes her naivety in a kind and funny way. This Is Me by Samuels is a newly commissioned autobiographical piece exploring monologue as a way to invite the audience deeper into the story of a young mind. Chicken Shed Theatre is in Chaseside Southgate, N14 for PE, and these shows will be on from February the 6th to March the 3rd, and you can find tickets at chickenshed.org.uk. Panthers worries mounting. Basement side condemn Borough to 5th straight league defeat. An alarming dip in form continued for Enfield Borough on Saturday as they suffered a 5th consecutive defeat with a 4-1 loss at the hands of bottom-of-the-table Hillingdon Borough. While the margin of victory flattered the hosts, it was another worrying display by the Panthers, who have slipped to 8th in Spartan South Midlands League Division 1. After Civi Bauer had gone close with an early deflected shot, Enfield took the lead in the 21st minute when the same player was second favourite to a through ball, but he got ahead of his marker only to be brought down inside the box. Henderson Brown confidently converted the penalty. The goal apart, though, there were precious few efforts from either side in the remainder of the first half, although Brown did scrape the post with a shot from 20 yards. While Hillingdon's forwards produced plenty of effort in the first half, not once had they a shot on target. But that soon changed as they were to open up a 2-0 lead by the hour mark. In an attempt to regain the initiative, manager Marvin Walker threw on strikers Bruno Tavares and Isaac Stevens in place of midfielders James Thompson and Jemiah Plenty-Lawrence. Stevens was the liveliest of the forwards and nearly pulled Enfield level 7 minutes from time when his shot from 25 yards drifted over the keeper's head and ricocheted off the bar. It fell to Thomas Apoku in the centre of the penalty area, but the striker failed to keep his shot down. With that chance went Enfield's hopes of a point, as to rub salt into their wounds, their opponents scored twice more before full time.
And more football now. The heading Enfield let 2-goal advantage slip. Towners seeking a positive reaction. Enfield Town were looking to get back on track last night and get over the disappointment of letting a 2-goal half-time advantage slip in a tall draw at home to Merstham. Andy Leese's side, who are 12th in the Bostik Premier Division after Saturday's draw, were preparing to meet a Tonbridge Angels side 1 place and 2 points ahead of them in the table at the time of going to press. The Towners would have been the higher-placed club going into the game had they been able to see the job through after Liam Hope and a Ryan Blackman penalty had put the hosts in the driving seat. But a determined second-half display saw Merstham battle back to earn a deserved point through Tom Kavanagh and Liam Harwood. Lease gave debuts to dual registration signings Samir Bimutin and Matt Mitchell-King, both players having been at the club previously, and the home side got off to the ideal start when Blackman cut in from the left and set up Hope to make it 1-0 after just 3 minutes. The Moatsiders sought to get back on terms immediately as Charlie Penny and Alex Adai both tested keeper Joe Wright, and centre-half Mitchell-King then made a crucial block from Adai before the same player fizzed in a low delivery which no teammate was able to capitalise on. Although their chances had been limited, Enfield were to double the lead 7 minutes before the break when Aaron Green's attempts to get to the byline were thwarted by former Towner Tom Collins. The referee had no hesitation in pointing to the spot, and Blackman confidently converted. Merstham suffered what should have been another blow when their manager, Hayden Bird, was dismissed from the dugout, but the visitors got stuck into the task at hand after the break. The deficit was to be halved 5 minutes after the restart when a half-cleared corner fell for Kavanagh, and he made no mistake after steadying himself, firing a shot into the top corner. After Wright had twice denied Penny, Adam Martin fired wide and Sam Young saw another effort blocked as Town got back on the front foot. but their opponents were looking a threat on the break, and with substitute Tayshan Hayden-Smith also starting to create in midfield, they also had some opportunities to equalise. Blackman and Green had opportunities to make the points safe, but the Moatsiders were to stage a grandstand finish and got back on terms when Harwood struck with a stooping far post header following a corner from the right. After last night's home test with Tonbridge, Enfield are due to be on the road on Saturday with a trip to Burgess Hill Town.
And now for rugby. Ignatians impress in defeat against leaders. Enfield Ignatians, inspired by their central London environs, delivered a highly spirited performance despite a 31-20 defeat to the London 2 Northwest leaders, HAC, in the heart of the Square Mile. Coach Ali Cook said, "I'm thrilled by the efforts of the whole squad, and from 1 to 18 they put their bodies on the line. We matched HAC and our intensity was spot on, and our willingness to get on the front foot was spot on. Hopefully, this game is something we can build on in the next run of games." Humbled 73-26 in the corresponding fixture in September, Ignatians' well-organised and stubborn defence enabled the Blue and Golds, by and large, to stall the momentum of waves of HAC attacks. Indeed, Ignatians set out their stall in the opening minutes, and although a couple of promising attacks fell on stony ground, a penalty from captain Jack Bates gave them an early lead. The response wasn't slow in coming, and the hosts' high-tempered game eventually paid off after the pacey Rory Martin-Smith went over in the left corner. HAC fly-half Joe Kelleher added a penalty before a rare defensive lapse from Ignatians saw full-back Ben Johnson come into the line at pace for the second try to make it 13-3 at the break. Opting for a full frontal assault approach in the second half, Ignatians were rewarded in the opening minutes with another Bates penalty to narrow the deficit to 7 points. HAC was soon on the front foot again, and Kelleher added a penalty before Larry Anfo-White gave 3 defenders the slip before successfully herring his way upfield. Pressing home their advantage, HAC wrapped up the bonus point try from a 5-metre scrum as Martin Smith touched down. Undaunted, Ignatians got on the front foot and were to capitalise on their territorial game deep within the HAC half when Aaron James Nichols forced his way over. Bates added the extras, and although Kelleher landed a third penalty to extend HAC's advantage, Ignatians' forward charge via the pack took play deep within the opposition territory. The work wasn't wasted, and with the ball whipped right, it was initially dropped. But there were no infringements as it went backwards, and man of the match Ben Mills was on hand to mop up by charging in from 10 metres. Bates took the conversion rapidly, and although Ignatians went all out to secure the losing bonus point, they ran out of time, but the improvements had been manifest.
And now a couple of articles from the Edmonton Green Magazine, starting with Jack and the Beanstalk, the production at the Millfield Theatre. This year I had the pleasure of watching the Millfield Theatre's production of Jack and the Beanstalk, which I must say lived up to giant expectations, offering a Technicolor show jam-packed with comedy and fun. I have to start off by congratulating the writer and director of the show, Mark Day, for not only producing it, but also treading the boards at the very last minute as Dame Dotty Trot. It is a director's worst nightmare to have a cast member fall ill or such like with no understudy to step in. But Mark Day embraced his role with sheer sass and pizzazz, with an equally sensational wardrobe to match. Due to Mark's clever casting, this show was awash with talent. Firstly, the aptly named Flesh Creep was played by Alex Scott Fairley, who lived up to his persona in a delightfully sinister manner that incurred boos and hisses by the bucket load from the all too eager audience. It is no wonder that he's been asked back time and time again to do panto at Millfield, as his talent shines through in the various characters and accents he portrays on stage. Jack Trott, played by Alex James Ellison, gave a very charming performance and an equally endearing rendition of Jack Johnson's Better Together, which he played on the guitar. This added a really lovely touch to his first duet with Jill, giving the show its fairy tale feel as we followed the hero and heroine on their adventure. The role of Simple Simon, Jack's brother, who encouraged the audience to greet him every time he came on stage, was played by the hugely charismatic Christopher Burr. He played his role with ease, bringing great energy and a contagious smile to every scene. Both Fairy Deluxe and Jill, played by Catriona Perrott and Lydia Rose Bertie, respectively, had fabulous singing voices which really shone through in holding out for a hero, leaving an excited buzz of chatter as the audience left the auditorium for the interval. You can't have Jack and the Beanstalk without Buttercup the cow, and in this show she did not disappoint, with her usual lovable characteristics and a bold tap routine to boot. I must also acknowledge the giant. Yes, you heard correctly, an actual giant. Well, not a real giant, but a huge, movable giant figurine reaching all the way up to the top of the stage. This huge apparatus was controlled by Jamie Lee Morgan, who did a brilliant job weaving it around the set and adding a bit of magic and make-believe to the production. The set, although simple, suited the style and period of the show and cleverly enhanced the giant's lair towards the end of the show, putting everything into perspective. I was equally impressed with the costumes, cleverly fitting in with the original storyline, but brilliantly bright and showy when needed. Dustin Conrad's excellent musical accompaniment gave the show a real buzz and sense of energy, using a clever mix of old and modern songs intertwined with the storyline. A particular favourite of mine was A Rumour in Merryville, originally A Rumour in St. Petersburg, taken from the cartoon adaptation of Anastasia. The choreography was very cleverly interwoven with the songs throughout the show, giving it the feel of a full-on musical. The dancers had clearly worked hard during rehearsals, performing the ambitious choreography with energy. All I can say is I wish the stage had been bigger. On an ending note, the Millfield Theatre production team should be very proud of their show this year, as it has set the festive period off to a fantastic start, and I am sure that each audience will enjoy this production as much as I did.
And now we have an article, the second article from Edmonton Green Magazine, all about the early days of Edmonton Green Market. When working-class families started to permeate Edmonton Green after the railway arrived in 1872, it should have been no surprise that hawkers would follow them, knowing that there was a growing market to be satisfied. Street traders were nothing new. Costermongers had been plying their wares since the Tudor times, when a costard, which was a ribbed variety of apple, first gave these itinerant vendors their name. By the last decade of the 19th century, they had started appearing in 4 locations in Edmonton. That's in Lead Street, in Silver Street on some rough ground where later the Regal Cinema would be erected, at the Broadway, roughly where Asda Car Park is now, and around the Green. It is this latter market that concerns this article. Edmonton Urban District Council didn't know how to deal with these unofficial and illegal markets. In the 1880s, they had enclosed the Green to stop people using it for storage. But by 1897, traders were regularly erecting stalls on the highway surrounding Edmonton Green. Although the Public Health Act of 1875 had given local authorities the power to licence street markets, Edmonton UDC had a major obstacle. They had no authority to allow traders to erect stalls. By a deed of covenant in 1885, the Green had been conveyed to the District Council by the Lord of the Manor on the condition that no building of any kind could be erected that would annoy him or owners of property nearby. They had 2 options: to find another site for the market, or remove the existing stallholders via the police. They failed miserably on both accounts. For the next 60 years, the UDC, and that of course is Urban District Council, regularly requested their clerk to seek an alternative location for the market and prevaricated at every suggestion. After the Great War, street markets had been established in Tottenham, Leighton and Ilford. And under pressure from the Labour Party, trade unions and even Billingsgate Market, Edmonton UDC agreed to licence the stallholders. For the next decade, they issued 3-month permits to traders on the condition that they were British subjects, residents of Edmonton, and that they had served in the Great War.
Most traders were delighted to get their livelihood legitimised, but it didn't stop illegal traders from outside the parish setting up stalls. If apprehended, the rogue traders were fined. However, some of the more canny hucksters would refer to the original covenant, pointing out that the council had no authority to either charge for a permit or fine traders. Technically, they were correct, but the market survived. In 1930, Middlesex County Council issued a new bylaw that finally gave the council the right to licence the street market around Edmonton Green. The problems of illegal traders continued, and the issue of how to deal with refuse caused by the market was also a constant thorn. The stallholders claimed that they had cleared away their individual rubbish, but general litter left by shoppers was the responsibility of the Highways Department. The cost of removing the waste exceeded the licence fees collected from the traders, so the market ran at a loss to the council, even after the Second World War. The stallholders' rents were determined by central government, and the now Borough Council were regularly appealing to Westminster to allow them to increase the rents. By the early 1960s, the Borough Council had finally decided to develop Edmonton Green and hired modernist architect Frank Gibbard to design the new shopping centre. Unfortunately, the 1965 Local Government Act swallowed Edmonton into the new Borough of Enfield and scuppered their plans. The design of the new green was assigned to the borough architect.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of John, Kitty, Ali and Phillip on the controls, it's bye. Goodbye. Please remember to turn over the address label on your postal packet, put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with the Enfield Talking newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.